Connolly, and I want to at the outset extend my sympathy to the parents, the brother and sister, the boyfriend, the extended family of Aisling Murphy, and to the community. And like many men and women in this country, I've participated in vigils and shown solidarity, and that's appropriate and it's the human thing to do. But in doing that, we also have an extra duty as a legislator and an elected member to ensure that we make Ireland safe, not just for women, but for all of us. And I'm here tonight and I have just under 2 minutes, and in that time I want to put a focus, Minister, on the amount of times that we've stood here as women, and indeed my colleagues, male colleagues, on statements on violence against women. Statements with little action. I know you have taken a personal interest and I pay tribute to that, but the numbers speak for themselves in our failure. So when we look at a watershed and Aisling Murphy's death as a watershed, I come from a city where Manuel Urido died in 2007, 17 years of age, barely a wet day in the country. That was to be a watershed. That was 10 years after the task force on violence against women in 1997, 10 years afterwards. That was to be a watershed. That followed on from the Women's Aid in 1996, putting extraordinary pressure on a shoestring budget on the government at that time to produce this. That was produced. And in that time, since 96, the figures have been used. 244 women have lost their lives. And indeed, as has been mentioned already, a year tomorrow saw the death of a young woman from Mongolia. I won't try to pronounce her name, out of respect to the woman, who was stabbed in the neck by a 14-year-old boy and subsequently died on the 3rd of February. She deserves remembering, as all of the other faces since who have died, at least 7, plus not to mention the women and children who have suffered extraordinary violence and injury. So we ask ourselves, what are we doing? Where is the refuge report that was promised? Where is the national strategy that was promised to be published before Christmas? These are the specific questions that need to be asked. It's no longer acceptable to get an answer last October to say it's going to be published in the next few weeks, and it hasn't. I'll come back later in the other motion.